This is part 2 of my gnarliest SCX24 build ever, and after seeing this thing put together, it did not disappoint. Now if you haven't seen part 1, I'll link that in the description down below where I go over all the parts that I'm using in this build. So in this video we're going to assemble this thing and we're going to run it. I made great progress on this thing. It went together better and quicker than I thought, so we're going to get to see this thing in action in this video. It came out so rad, I can't wait to show you guys this thing. So let's jump in and check out the build, then we'll go over some key takeaways and next steps as I continue to refine this thing. Alright guys, figured I'd record the process here before I get too deep into the installation. We've made some good progress today. Friday afternoon here. I took the day off before Memorial Day weekend, hoping to get a jump on this because I really want to get it done for the holiday weekend so I can have some time to enjoy it. So let me show you where we're at here. We've got the axles pretty much all put together with the motors installed. So I went with the Mofo RC NanoBam motors. So I got a pair of NanoBam motors. Got those bolted up pretty easy. It is a little tricky with their motor wires. Seem to mesh pretty well. With the servo wire coming out the side, I got all of my wires coming out in one place, which is nice because I'll be able to really bundle these up pretty clean. Did have to bend your drag link here. This comes as just one flat piece. Kind of mangled this one a little bit. I just manhandle them with a couple of pliers here. What I'm using for the front, this one came out much cleaner. See, it runs up and behind the servo horn here, but got all the steering range is working well. Look at the steering angle on these axles is outrageous too. This is going to be nuts. So got these both hooked up. Got the motor guard on both of these. Got my links built and attached as well. So I'm running the Goblin links on this from Hardpark. I'm going to see how these do. They've got quite the high clearance bend in here. Just got the upper links kind of in the center neutral position for now. I'll adjust these as I go. Got the Mofo RC shocks. Now I'm going to try to run the shocks down low. I put them on the same mounting point as the lower links. One thing I did notice is that I didn't get the battery on axle linkage. So I don't think I'm going to be able to capitalize it with this setup because of where the shock is. So let's see. I might be able to. I don't know. I might be able to actually, depending on where it mounts on the chassis. But that's where your battery on axle goes right there. I did order a set of Dementor links with the battery on axle setup. Those are coming. Will be here early next week. But this might work after all. I might even be able to get away without doing anything to it. I was thinking about maybe notching out the bottom to get that to fit, but I don't think I'm going to have to. Got the wheels and tires all put together as well. So we got these Endura, these 1.3 Klingon tires that I cut to fit these oversized wheels. Had some folks ask me on Instagram to do a tutorial on how to cut these. I would if I didn't butcher them myself. I'm embarrassed to show you what they look like off of the wheel. What I ended up doing was just, I took a ring and I put it on top of the tire. I used a Sharpie and just marked on the inside. And then I used my Lexan, my curved Lexan body scissors to just cut around very slowly around the tire. Found out the hard way, do not stretch the tire to cut. Just kind of hold it neutral and just kind of slowly cut your way around. I got better as I went, but I'm still too embarrassed to show you the process. Maybe on the next build, but nonetheless, they did fit. They work very well. They're on there. They look spectacular. We've got two options for hubs on these. We've got a shorter set and we've got a longer set. I'm thinking, given the height of these tires, probably going to go with the longer hubs so that I don't run into clearance issues at full lock there. I can already see, yeah, I'm going to want to bump those out as much as I can so I got clearance for the shock. So we're rolling right along. We're in good shape here. So I think the next step, I'm going to bolt these up to the chassis, which is already pre-assembled. And she should go together just like that right there. The tiny little electronics right there on the skid will have no weight in this thing except for on the axles. This is going to be super gnarly. I can't wait. All right, guys, progress here. There's a couple of things when I did have to do. I had to bend my front links pretty significantly to get around the motor and transmission. You can see I had to pinch them in here because I was getting a lot of binding. They wouldn't clear the motor. So we should be okay now. Didn't have to bend the rears. They seem to clear okay. I get a little bit of catch on that upper bolt right there, but we'll see. Check it out, guys. We got a roller. It's almost close to completion here. It's good to do the electronics. I'm going to put inside here. Got some wire management to do, make sure my servos and everything are good, but it's largely put together. thought this was going to be simple when I dug into this today, but it absolutely was not. I had to do a bunch of different things to the linkage, which I'll go over with you guys. Really grateful for the Venge RC. The modularity of this chassis really helped me out here. So let's talk about the links, what I had to do. So the upper links, the Hardpark upper links were too long with this setup here. I got the Goblin links. They're a deadbolt length rear, I believe, but the uppers were just too long. We're coming way up to the front here. So what I ended up doing was using some 40.5 millimeter. And I had these left over from some other builds. I got these from Mofo RC, again 40.5 millimeter on the upper links. So I got the rear all situated. One thing is kind of a bummer. I'm sacrificing a lot of clearance here. I've got all this room up to the chassis that I need to capitalize on, but I can't. So I need to bend my own links, or if any of you guys out there has got a read on where I can get some links or want to hook me up with some super high clearance links, hit me up, because I got to capitalize on that. It's one of the benefits of this setup, is that I want all of that clearance there with no drive shaft. So I'll keep tweaking that, but nonetheless the rear is all functional. With the front, I mentioned I had to do that custom bending, which I did, so I got that all set up. I had to flip the upper links upside down to get this to work, so it's kind of a upside down U shape almost to get those to attach as well. But they're on there too. Able to run the battery on axle configuration with the shocks without the springs. Does not seem to be binding. We'll see. I still have those Dementor links on order to get that situated properly, but we're going to give this a whirl. I'll be putting the 3S Genzace pack right there. To get all of this to work, I had to do a couple things. I had to remove the front shock towers from the Venge RC chassis, and then I just mounted the shocks right up to this lower part of the chassis rail. That involved taking out kind of the middle cross brace in between here so that the links could clear it, because I was getting clearance issues there, but got that sorted away. Still feels rigid enough. I don't feel any issue there. In the back, I'm still having some challenges with these rear frame rails hitting the servo, so it could drop further, but as you can see, that right hand rail hits the servo. So if I had a smaller chassis, I could get even more drop here. But what I was able to do, again with the Venge RC, you can loosen up these bolts and you can slide these back and forth. So I did slide them as forward as I could, which gave me a little bit more room, but still would like to get that to sit flat. We'll see. I'm anxious to see how it performs. It might be a non-issue. It's wide, super wide. You can see how, these axles are wide anyway, and then with the larger hubs on these wheels, it bumps it out significantly wider. So thing's got a huge track width on it. But I feel it's necessary because those big tires, even at full steer, they just hit the shocks. So I think if I close that in, I'd have rubbing issues there. Look at the steering angle on these things. Oh my gosh, this is going to be insane. So next step is going to be putting the electronics in. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to put them right on this little tray here in the back, maybe on the bottom skid just to keep them down low. We'll see. But nonetheless, that's the next step, and then we're going to fire this thing up. All right, guys, we did it. We did it. Here it is. So let's see. I did a little bit of troubleshooting. I haven't done a ton, but got this thing all ready to go. Let's plug it in so you guys can check it out. Can't believe we brought this thing to life. What a fun project. Made me feel like a newbie again. So cool. All right, so you see we got battery on axle. Look how slick that looks. Super pumped to be able to get that to work. There's a 3S pack sitting there. So we have got the 4-wheel steering. Got the rear steer on the rotary knob here. It's probably my favorite setup there. So you got fully functional independent rear steering. We got the Dinky RC, dual RC, working flawlessly. Look at that. Look at the turning radius on these, the steering angle on these axles is just crazy. Turns on a dime. Oh my gosh. This is so cool. So cool. Seeing those motors spin on both of those axles, unbelievable. Now the Radiolink RC8X, thank heavens for this radio, because this made the dual ESC and everything super simple. So, and again, Matt at 2FMRC, I shamelessly copied his settings. This whole video should be dedicated to Matt because he really helped me out here. But in here, we've got this, in this main menu here, the mixing setting, we've got a dual ESC setting where you can go in and assign everything you need to right here. So we've got channel 2 is my front ESC, channel 4 is my rear ESC, and then it does the mixing very easily for you. You've got this adjustability down here. Now this is cool because when I first set this up, I was talking about different pinions for overdrive and underdrive. You don't need to do that with an MOA setup because you can adjust it to an infinite degree on your radio here. So if I want to bring this down, the lower that bottom number is, the more underdrive I'm going to have in the rear. See that? And then you can just simply switch that around if you want, for whatever reason. I can bring it all the way down, almost next to nothing, right on the fly. So cool. You're going to do that. Unbelievable. So the customization is just incredible what we can do here. Now there's additional functionality in here too. So if I go to page 2 on this screen, dual ESC switch, this is where you can operate your front and rear dig. Now this is unbelievable. So DT3 is what I've got. So if I hit that down, I've got front dig. And I guess that could be, you could came up against an obstacle, I guess if I had traction in the back, this is a slippery surface, but you could push that around, I suppose. And if I flip that up, this is your traditional dig. It locks the rear. It's gonna let you anchor that rear and just drag your front end around, pivot on a dime like that. And then I'm gonna go back to full four-wheel drive. There it goes. Unbelievable. This thing is so cool. I can't wait to get this thing out and go play around with it. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. Like a clearance in the rear. This is going to be insane. Alright guys, first run with the MOA build. You guys are right here with me doing this together. Very first time. I've not run it. We're going to do this. Holy cow, look at this thing. It's so gnarly. I feel like I'm dragging the rear. It doesn't feel like that rear is engaging like it should. This thing looks insane. It's hard to drive one-handed here. Just a little clearance there. Yeah, man, so much clearance, even with the links. I know, like the subpar links there. Yeah, see, I want more power going to the rear to see what's going on there. Oh man. Dude, despite the width getting up through there, this is so cool. This is so cool. Talking about seeing like something out of your imagination come to life. Never thought I would see this come together the way it did. Always thought about doing the motor on axle. And it's went together so clean and so sharp. Oh, the axles, all the hardware, everything. Took some tuning for sure. This isn't just a bolt up and go build. But man, it wasn't as difficult as I would think. I mean, I've been working on this probably 2 or 3 days and not a ton of time each day. And to be able to put it together and have it functional almost like the first shot is pretty amazing. Getting creative here. Oh, there we go. It's going to be real hard on this top section here because it's so wide. Use the dig there to straighten out. Oh gosh, that's awesome. Alright, we got some help there. I was too scared to push it. See how it looks going down. I know I've probably got some work to do on the chassis to get this thing sorted out, but man, it's pretty flat right there. Oh, so cool. Let's see how it does on the side hill. Man, all the weight's at the bottom on this thing's super planted. Like a spider, holy cow. Man, no problem. I'm obsessed. This thing is so cool. Look at the motor spin up on those axles. So awesome. What a cool project. Holy cow, look at it. I cannot wait to get this thing outdoors. I am going to do just that. We'll get through here, go up the canyon, and then we're going to go outside. Oh, so cool. Out here at the favorite crawling spot with the new MOA build. Really discouraged to see that some local delinquents had came out and destroyed pretty much all of this front section here. One of the best sections here. Remember Bicycle Bridge? My favorite obstacles there is gone. There's the bicycle there. They tore down this section here too. Pretty much all of the man-made structures around here got completely destroyed. Remember this nice bridge section here. This was an awesome spot for the minis too, right here. The guys put a lot of effort into building that. You know, they used good lumber and everything and put a lot of time and effort into it, and it got completely destroyed. The slide there too. Remember the slide was always a good obstacle. The slide's over there in the fire pit, and you can see it in the woods. Such a bummer. Looks like they left the back section largely untouched though. I don't know. What a bummer. We're going to make the most of it. Maybe I can help the guys rebuild this summer, but this was a discouraging thing to see. Someone mentioned it in the comments, and I was hoping in the back of my mind maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought, but it's as bad, probably worse. We still got rocks. We got stuff to play on. Let's give it a shot. Try out the MOA build. I'm excited. I'm not going to let these hooligans ruin this experience. We will rebuild, and we'll have fun in the meantime. This thing is so cool. I am in love with this build. Just looking at it, it is so cool looking. Had an issue at home before I came out here. I think one of the C-hubs came loose and kind of popped off. I thought I'd broken an axle, but it just had come loose. Those motors. See the dual motors in there is so awesome. Super slippery. There we go. Pushing all over the place. I'm really impressed with this for a first pass at this setup. God, this thing is so cool. Look at those big tires floating through that hole. I still got some work to do for sure, but I'm so happy to have this thing functional to be able to run it for the long holiday weekend. This is going to be a blast. What a weapon. I'm right on that servo horn. Got real solid components in here. You know, the axles, the shafts and everything are super beefy, but I don't want to push it too hard. I'd be ashamed to break it on my first outing. I almost feel like this could benefit from a longer wheelbase. It looks a little scrunched. Could be because of the oversized tires that I'm running. Having the dig functionality is super cool, but the steering angle on these axles is so aggressive you almost don't even need it. You got the four-wheel steering, this thing can turn on a dime. You combine the four-wheel steering with the overdrive that you can enable, and the maneuverability is outrageous. The Dinky RC, the control out of this thing is excellent. Heard great things about their electronics. This does not disappoint. Super smooth, extremely linear control. Feels great. Oh, you got the sun coming out. There we go. Like those hazard wheels, man. This whole thing looks so good. This dig on a 24, I love it. Alright, a couple more lines and I'm going to get out of here. I got some tuning to do and less than ideal slippery conditions out here, but I was too excited not to take it out and show you guys this thing, so I'm super happy with it. What a fun build. Man, the outcome so good. For a first pass, this thing is gnarly. I am in love with this thing. Oh, this wicked drop off. Nice. Oh, I'll wiggle my way out. We're gonna crab walk right up it. Look at that thing pivot, man. 10th scale lines right here. This thing, oh, so awesome. Alright guys, I'm going to give you some key takeaways from this build and we'll talk about next steps. After having run this for a little while, having a blast with it, my gosh, I love this thing. It is so much fun to drive. This thing, this whole build process and driving this truck made me feel like a beginner again. It's been a long time since I've really had to think really hard and work with some new technology on these little SCX24. So this thing with the motor on axle setup definitely got me into uncharted territory with the mechanics and the electronics, and that is a lot of fun. It's such a breath of fresh air to do something so out of the box. Before I go any further, I do want to give a huge shout out to Matt over at 2FMRC for really paving the way for this build. I shamelessly copied a lot of what he did in his video series. I strongly encourage you check that out. But this would have been a whole lot harder without Matt's guidance, and I totally appreciate it. Now, a couple of key takeaways after running this truck for a little bit. Number one is that I feel like it's too short. So I definitely want to stretch the rear end, I think. The front, I feel like, is pretty good, but I want some more length in the rear. It feels a little bit squished, and I noticed a few times that I would loop out a little more abruptly than I was expecting to. When I do go to newer links, I definitely need to do higher clearance with a more extreme bend in here. Like I said, during the build process, I'm leaving about half an inch of clearance here with these Hardpark links. And even though these things have a great bend in them, just the style of build that you're able to do with the motor on axle affords us the ability to do a much gnarlier bend in there. So I either need to bend my own or I need to source some longer, more aggressive links on this. Speaking of links, using the Hardpark steering linkage up front, I did see in Matt's video, he had some slop in his, and I saw from Derek in the comments, thank you Derek, that if you double up the O-rings here, you can really tighten that up. So that's what I did. I didn't go over that in the build overview, but I did utilize that technique on my steering linkage, is to put 2 O-rings on one side of each of the connections here. So 3 O-rings total on each of the connections on the steering linkage, and that tightened it up significantly. But overall, I am thrilled with this build. Probably one of my favorite all-time SCX24 projects. I can't wait to get this thing dialed in and spend some more time with it. I had such a good time with it, even in the short time that we had today to run it. So I'm really looking forward to spending more time with it. So in part 3, we'll probably just be refining it. I want to stretch that rear end, address those links. I'll also likely have my Dementor links up front that I can relocate these shocks to do the proper battery on axle setup. Although this worked really well, I didn't feel like I necessarily had to do that conversion now. But we'll give it a shot anyway, because I am getting a little bit of friction there on the battery on axle mount. But nonetheless, happy I was able to utilize that. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of this new motor on axle build here? And again, any tips you guys have for this thing, please put it in the comments down below. Still learning a lot about this setup. I learned a ton from you guys last time, so definitely keep it coming. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next video.